start again, just to make sure that you remember what we were talking about. So you open your presentation. The first thing you do is you open your slides. So you got your first slide. Then in that first slide, you're saying, hi, good morning, so and so. My name is da. Thank you for spending some time on this, whatever. And then maybe you will say some things. And what will happen is that sometimes automatically the customer will start giving objections. This one not interested, this, that, whatever. So then at that point, you will handle objection. I will show you how to do that. After you handle objection, you open your first selling slide that is going to try to convince your customer to try to buy from you. So you will ask your first question. Every single attempt or every single slide should have one attempt, cubaan, one attempt to sell. So the first slide, you ask a question related to a customer punya challenge. A soalan yang, related to customer punya cabaran lah. So when you ask the question, dia akan reply. Bila dia reply, you then explain to the customer the benefit dengan feature of your product. Specifically related to one of the challenges that the customer might be facing. And that challenge is told to the customer like a question that you would ask. So ask a question about challenge, customer respond, then you tell them about the benefit that is related to that challenge and also the feature of your product that is related to the customer punya challenge. And then you test the water. And just now I had asked before we were so rudely interrupted that does anybody know what testing the water means? And I remember, I think Jackson Chum had replied to that. I believe the reply was understanding the customer's need. Actually, testing the water, basically, how when you sometimes, right, when you're went to the swimming pool, you want to go swimming, but the weather is very nice, it's cloudy, it's sajo skip, so you're thinking, oh, very cold, maybe I should test the water first. Only then maybe I should jump in. So what you do is you put your finger, your hand, or your foot inside the water in the swimming pool. You check first. If it is not so cold, only then you jump in. It's the same concept that we are using in our sales presentation. You tell the customer about the product benefit and also the feature that is related to dia punya cabaran. And then when you tell them, then you test the water. In other words, don't you think that this feature of my product can help you with the challenge you are facing with whatever. So that's actually testing the water. That is not a question where you're asking for the sale. It's not what we call a closing question. It's a testing the water question to see if whatever you have mentioned to the customer, did it create any kind of interest or not? That's testing the water. Hang on, I've got something in the chat here. Shahir says, try to find out what reaction and action. Okay, yes, absolutely. Shahir, you are right. Trying to find out what reaction did the customer have in their mind or emotionally. Just trying to find that out to see if the explanation that you are giving to the customer, to see if that explanation is creating any kind of impact or not. That's testing the water. So then when you have done your first attempt, you've shown your first slide, you ask the testing the water question after telling them about the specific benefit and feature related to their challenge. You test the water. What can happen? Either they will say, in other words, either they will give you a positive response, like, oh, yeah, I agree, this can actually help me. That's a positive response. Or they can give you an objection. You can see that you will get an objection. So now, once again, because you are, after this training, you're going to know how to prepare your presentation slides in such a way that you have a minimum of 3 attempts to sell in every presentation, minimum 3. Of course, some companies I show they have got maybe 4, sometimes even 5 attempts to sell in one presentation. But I'm saying if you have the 3 of the top benefits of your product related to the top 3 challenges that your customers face without your product, then you've got a very strong presentation. So you got your attempt 1, you've asked the question after you told them about the, you ask a question, they gave you an answer, then from that answer, you told them the product features and benefits, you tested the water. So Mr. Customer, don't you think that if with this particular feature of the product, your challenge number 1 can actually be overcome? The customer can say, yeah, I think you're right. Or he might say, no, I'm not interested. This is not going to help. So whatever it is, you go to your next slide. So then you go, you can look at the slide again. Now we've opened up attempt or slide number 2. So we are basically, what are we doing? We are showing slides and we are talking. We're basically doing our sales presentation, PowerPoint presentation. So next slide, same thing. You got your next question according to challenge number 2 that the customer facing. So next question, then your customer will respond. Then you test the water again. At that point also, either the customer is going to say, yeah, that makes sense, that's good, or they will give you an objection. And then the same thing will happen with the third attempt, third slide, same thing. Either they will say yes, or they'll give you an objection. So once that happens, of course, once you're done, then you ask the closing question. So shall we? And your closing question could be, maybe you are offering to send them an agreement that they need to sign and chalk. Maybe you're sending a proposal that they need to send to the management for approval. Maybe you are talking to the decision maker and the decision maker says, just send it to me, I will sign it. So that is basically needs to happen only if you ask the closing question. The closing question could be, so, sir, with this understanding, you can see that, your challenge 1 will be taken care of because of benefit and feature 1. Your challenge 2 will be taken care of because of feature 2 and benefit 2. And the same thing with challenge 3 will also be overcome because of benefit 3 and feature 3. With all of that knowledge, would you agree that this is something that you should actually go ahead and do? Yeah, I think I agree. All right, sir, would you like me to send you the agreement so that you can sign? So that question, or shall we say, would you like to go ahead and take the product? Or would you like to, basically just go ahead with it? That's actually a closing question. So whenever you ask the closing question, guess what? Once again, you have the chance of getting an objection. This is very normal. What I'm showing you is the street knowledge. This is not like some theory in sales law. This is something that actually will happen, does happen. You guys some of you are very experienced salespeople. I think you know what I mean. You cannot go through any sales presentation without somebody giving you like tons and tons of objections. And the main objection is, I'm not interested. So don't worry, I'll show you how to deal with that, how to take care of it. Anyway, so closing part, you once again get an objection. You handle that objection also. Then you ask the customer to commit. I call that gaining commitment. Gaining commitment. And once you ask the gaining commitment question, in other words, shall I send you the PDF or the agreement so that you can sign? At that point, you are trying to get commitment. Customer will say, yes, send it to me, I will sign. So then at that point also, the customer might give you another objection. I like to call it last minute objection, LM objection. So you will get that also. So we will need to be able to take care of all of these or handle all of these objections. However, the flow of our sales presentation needs to look like this. Start, and then of course, ask your first question, show the first slide. Go through benefits, test the water. Handle objection, go to the next attempt, next slide. Do the same thing again. Ask question, get response, tell them the benefits and features according to that particular challenge, and then test the water. Each attempt in your sales presentation needs to handle or help overcome each challenge that your customer faces. And we're going to go deeper into this after your tea break.